Hey guys, Riddler here. Today I'm going to be fixing my RC Maker SP-1. Had a little front suspension issue last Saturday racing. So maintaining the integrity of your RC Maker SP-1 suspension is essential for consistent track performance and durability. Two critical components involved in creating a release point for less breakages and stuff like that of the lower arms themselves are part 3026A, which is that little guy. It's a lower suspension ball cup, and as well as 1021. That is a little clip, and which I will show you later on in the video, that actually goes underneath the arm and holds that ball clip in. So in a big crash, as opposed to the arm just snapping, basically what it'll do is it'll kick that ball cup. It'll kick that clip out and kick the ball cup out. That way you have something like this where you can, for relatively cheap, you get this little guy. It's got that little ridge there. You can see little ridge right at the bottom there, and then that's what the clip sits into, right? Clip sits in like that, and then holds it on the arm, and then that's what holds your steering knuckle to the lower arm. So, all right. So some tools you're going to need. Mini little flathead would be handy. You have to have your 7mm to take your tire off, and then depending how much damage is there, if you want to check stuff, your 2mm is handy, and then as well as your 2.5. All right, so let's get started here. We're going to get started by taking the tire off, so let's do that. And then as we're doing that, I'll talk to you about some stuff here. So yeah, the 3026A, which is the part number for a RC Maker, is the 5mm lower ball suspension, or suspension ball cup, sorry. The part connects the lower A arm to the chassis, which is kind of important, using an insert that RC, it's a little insert, as I showed you earlier, that just inserts into the A arm, and then holds your steering knuckle to the A arm and holds that everything together. You know what I mean? It's a simple design. It's a plastic bushing kind of idea. That's what they came up with and engineered, which I think is pretty smart. It's a good break point, as opposed to the arms, which are, I think they're like 20 something bucks or something like that. It's still relatively cheap compared to X-ray, but you don't want to be breaking arms all the time, because then you got to take all your suspension apart. You got to put a new arm in. You got to put all the pieces that go on the arm, right? You gotta swap that over, and it's just a pain. So when you can have a nice break point like that, that's top notch stuff. And then yeah, so the 1021 is that little retaining clip that I showed you. Give you another look there. That's what it looks like. It's a little carbon fiber piece. Yeah, that again, it just holds the ball cup in the arm. All right, so when you're fixing the ball cup and that clip, I would recommend a brand new one every time. Brand new clip, brand new ball cup. They are plastic for the ball cup, and carbon fiber for the clip. The clip could be damaged, it could be cracked, and that'll just fall off, and your arm fall off. And if you're like me, I like finishing the 5-minute practices, the quals, sorry, and then I like finishing my main to the best I can. And to have a silly little break like that ruin my day, I'm not going to be happy, as opposed to just doing preventative maintenance and seeing it ahead of time, maybe just replacing a clip. Maybe you see that the ball cup is damaged, you know what I mean? I don't know if it'll last 5 minutes. Just pop it off, put a new one on, put the clip on. It'll take about 5 minutes, reality, if you're just in the zone, just working on it. So what you'll need is a ball cup, a retaining clip. Like I said, 7 mil to take the tire off, and then really, honestly, you can do it from there yourself, right? So it's underneath the arm here. So what you do is just grab onto it. See, just like that. I've pulled it off, right? Okay. So then what you do, move this out of the way. That's the drive shaft, right? I know it's kind of tough to see. All right. So I'll give you a little close up here. Basically, that little spot here, that little hole, right? I'll point to it for you. That little hole right here. You see the screwdriver going through it? That's where that ball clip is kind of going. So you want to put the ridge down through the hole. And it's a square hole, so it only fits one way, right? Okay, so now you can see that that's through the hole. Okay. So then now you turn it upside down, turn your car upside down. You take your clip. I'll show you when I'm done how you put that in, just so you guys have any questions about that. You can make sure you do it right when you put it back together. Okay, so you put it back together. You want to make sure it's like that. So you want this open end to face the outside of the vehicle towards the tire, and then the closed end towards the chassis. And the reason you're doing this is because if you had it the other way, any small little tap or something like that, that would just shoot out. So that's why I believe that they recommended doing it that way in the manual. So yeah, so first steps first, take the tire off. Then once you get the tire off, move any other suspension parts that are in the way. Yeah, so use needle nose pliers, pull the suspension ball cup off. Then you have your hole. Then insert your new ball cup. What I would do is I would inspect the arm, just make sure it's not cracked, depending on how hard the hit is. Make sure nothing's broken, like the knuckle. Make sure the knuckle didn't get cracked, because it's like laminated carbon fiber in a sense, I guess. So yeah, once you've done that, and you make sure that there's no other damage, you might as well fix it while you're here, right? So once you make sure that there is no other damage, then you can go ahead and put that ball cup in, and then push it through far enough. Basically, push it so that it's as far as it can go onto the A-arm, and then you'll have enough room underneath to put the clip on, because that's where that ridge is underneath, as I showed you earlier in the video. So yeah, that's how you get that back on. So then what you want to do is you want to get your drive shaft back in, right? And then what you're going to want to do is you got to snap your ball cup back in there. So there's no real easy way to do this part. What I like to try and do is I like to try and get pliers right here on the metal of the hub, and then it's kind of awkward, and then flush on the bottom. That way I can get a clean snap in there. And then once you hear the ball clip snap into the cup, then you know that you are reattached. And I just make sure Yep, so the clip's still on. Okay, and here I'm going to show you this too. So this ball cup looks okay. You can see it's a little deformed. It will probably be kept for a spare just in case, but you can actually kind of see a little bit that, I know it's hard to see, but that one's got some damage on it too. And that's what I mean. You might as well check it while you're there, just to prevent a silly breakdown. So yeah, make sure the ball suspension cup fits in there snug, and then flip the chassis upside down. Put your retaining clip in with the open end, the U end facing out, and then basically just make sure everything is kosher in there. Make sure all the suspension parts are good. Nothing's bent, nothing's stripped. None of the arm or knuckle or anything like that is cracked. Once you've done that, you've got it all back together. Then you can simply put it back together. So yeah, again, I'm just going to go over real quick the clever retaining clip method. I like it because again, it creates that break point where it's a plastic piece, and I think the total of the two parts together are like 20 something cents. You can get them in, I think it's 10 packs you get them in, and they're relatively inexpensive, like I think under $10 for both. So maybe it's like $1 fix, but I mean in RC world that's really cheap. It's cheaper than the $20-30 arm. So yeah, it's a smart preventative maintenance, even if it catches it before it breaks, great, because then you don't lose track time, you don't lose a main, potentially lose your TQ. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. That's all. As competitive racers, that's that's what we care about, is getting those TQs and getting those podiums and wins, right? So, in conclusion, uh, it's a really simple fix, but it's a really ingenious fix because it prevents major problems and extensively timely repairs when you might not have, on a club day, you might not have that many guys, so you don't have a whole lot of time, so then you're rushing, then you forget a screw or you forget a part, and you're 10 minutes out because now you got to go back and retrace your steps, and then make sure you've done everything properly or you didn't miss any damage that could be. So without further ado, let's get this tire back on here, and then we'll be done. So I have an eBay store, which I will put a link in the description below, where I sell RC kits. I sell tires and parts. I got a couple car stands in there. I have tools and a tool holder as well. So if you want to go check those out, and maybe even grab something that you like or you think you might need in your future RC endeavors, the support would be greatly appreciated. All right, that's the Riddler, and that's a Workbench Wednesday review. Thanks, guys.